as kind of an architect and an urbanist, if you look at the way that our cities have developed as opposed to like the European cities, we don't have the same amount of great public spaces that you find in the older European cities.
But tucked away in a small neighborhood in South City lies one of the best public spaces in St. Louis, the Royale, owned by Steve Smith, whose intention was to create a third place.
We don't have the great marketplaces or the great plazas, and places like the Royale really have kind of taken the place of that, and they were even a lot more prevalent 50, 60 years ago when you had could be the bowling alleys or the VFW halls or anything like that, and I think that we're kind of starting to, we're really starting to recreate a lot of those spaces now, especially like in an urban environment like St. Louis with a place like the Royale, and I think it is still, I think you kind of said George kind of said it's the marketplace of ideas. It's where human interaction takes place, and it's something that when you live in the suburbs and you're isolated and you get in your car, you drive to work, you drive back home again at the end of the day, you need these places for human interaction, and that's what this offers.
My primary intention was not to create a restaurant, it was really to create a public house, a bar, tavern. And the food was just meant to enhance the experience while people were here. And those are elements of a pub as well. It's just sort of becoming more common now to see bars have food. But my intention was primarily for a place to people talk.
We both agree that humans are social animals. We need this interaction. I believe it's hardwired into our genetics. We're constantly seeking out communication, creativity, other forms of expression. So I come to the Royale for stimulating conversation, quite frankly.
We have done in the past a series of different types of events, discussions. We did a series with the St. Louis Beacon, in which we had discussions on some very hot current topics. Sometimes around politics, sometimes just more on societal differences or societal challenges. Sometimes that had to do with race and politics, sometimes that had to do with just sexism, education, certain avenues of government. We've also had some theological discussions, discussions on based on food, the kind of food that we eat. I'm having other types of things like events with bookstores where we'll have an author come in and talk about his books, things that require discussion and thought. And those are the types of formal events that I've sponsored.
But Steve doesn't just host formal events at the Royale. He also hosts events like the Kentucky Derby Party and the
Cuban Missile Day Crisis Party. We dressed up like Soviet spies, and it was really just a fantastic evening. Steve, the proprietor, was dressed up like an American general. We had a Soviet counterpart to him who was wearing a complete Soviet general's uniform, and then we had everything. We even had a Peter Sellers Dr. Strangelove character who is actually here in a wheelchair with the leather glove trying to strangle himself. That was fantastic.
I know that people have this, and I have it too. I think most healthy people have this desire to, kind of talk to their neighbors in an open forum. And it's hard to do that just walking down the street or even at the grocery store. I mean, it's not the venue really to have a discussion. Some people are like, I'm not really interested in talking. When you come to a place like this, you'd be expected to at least be able to have some form of a discussion with somebody. You might not be interested, but that people have that sort of innate need to want to have a talk about their day. You're like, how's it going? I just want to tell you that, you know, we had a very interesting project at work today, and I'm curious what you think about it. What do you think about this challenge or issue? Or we have this new thing happening. Or it's just this natural need to have this discussion with another person who's your neighbor and kind of see what they think about it, or people use, and you might see some regular people where you might be able to get a regular opinion, somebody you trust, and somebody who's somewhat random who just happens to be there. And it sort of brings the civility into it.
You know, I come here on Monday nights pretty regularly, and I like the ebb and flow of every week. It's some days we have 2 people, some days we have, you know, a dozen, and I just like the, you know, I don't go to church on Sunday, I come to the Royale on Monday nights, and I like the grounding, centering kind of experience.
In terms of the neighborhood, I mean, I think there's a great benefit because we have our private homes, and we have so many private homes in an area. You have no public space. Everything just starts to become suffocating. It just turns inward, and we definitely have a need for our own private space and our private time. If that's all you have, you'll suffocate. People have this deal where they're only in private places all the time. They have to go out, have some public time to relax and kind of it almost makes you feel normal. If you don't go out, you don't feel. A lot of people don't feel normal.
Which is why Steve Smith has created the Royale with the intention of creating a third place or public space. He has created one of St. Louis's best spots to come and have a conversation and to have friends by the set, giving him one of the best third places in St. Louis.